Hey guys, what's up? Derby Dog here. So today I'm in quite a different situation as far as place goes. This is actually the back of our shop. So basically today I'm going to be showing you what I saved from my Derby car and why it's a good idea to save parts from your Derby cars. I know a ton of other guys have already made these videos, but I mean, you can't really stress it enough. It's just so important to save these extra parts, and I'm going to be showing you guys what I saved from the 1997 Buick Century that I derbied this past year and the year before that, and what parts I saved to possibly reuse again. So here we go. So first we're going to be starting off over here, and then we're going to work our way up. So obviously in here we got some, I don't even know what you call this right now. It's helpful, because this is actually what we held down the computer with and everything else. I just can't remember the name right now. But this is actually what we used to hold down the computer and the fuse box and stuff like that. Comes in handy and really is useful because you can fit a bolt right through there, so it's always useful. So we always save those and stuff like that. So here we got some threaded rod, and this is actually wasn't for the core support, although you can see it's kind of bent actually, but this is actually for the battery, and we had it going through the floor, and this is what would hold the battery in. We'd screw a bolt up to the top with a piece of wood, which I believe we did save that piece of wood. And here's another part of the threaded rod. They're two different sizes, weirdly enough. We got some of these plastic water bottles. This is actually what we use to protect the positive and negative connections for the battery connections that we made on our car. You can see these in the windshield wiper tray. And in these boxes, I'm just going to show you guys what's in these boxes. And as you guys can see, just from looking from the top, a ton of washers, and as you dig through these boxes, all you're going to find is bolts, nuts, and washers. And, you know, these are very important, in my opinion, because if you ever, like, strip a bolt or lose a bolt, and to like a GM car or even another brand car, you can possibly use these bolts, and you could search through your boxes of bolts just to see which one you need, and it's always good to keep those because you never know when you're going to need them. And they're pretty, I mean, you can see those are pretty compact boxes, so they're not bad. They don't take up a lot of space. Unlike these, this is a motor mount, and these actually go on the front of this goes on the front of the engine, and this goes on the core support. If you guys have seen W-Bodies, you obviously know what this is. And I figured I'd keep them because they're still in good shape, and you know what? Why not? I mean, I could always use them on another W-Body or even another car if they allow me to, so why not? This is part of the alternator bracket, and then we got a bunch of nuts and bolts, and I believe that's a copper washer in there for a brake. We put on the brake to the caliper, and I just dropped that. And this is a weird looking part, and this is actually what goes from the shifter cable, and this screws right onto the transmission and tells it what gear it's in. So this is actually part of what broke. Not that right there, but that was actually, I believe, clipped off. I'm not sure. I can't remember now, but this is actually what broke on my Century the first time I ran it, is that this cable actually, well, it didn't break, but it got stretched, so I had no idea what gear it was in, and that's how I lost the first Demolition Derby, in case anybody's new and didn't know. So, anyway, that's pretty much it for that box. Let's go ahead and put the stuff back in there so I don't lose anything or misplace anything. It's always good to reorganize your stuff once you got it. I'll clean that up later. Alright, so now we get to the bigger pieces. This right here should be pretty obvious from what it looks like. It's a starter. And one of the main reasons why I saved this starter, and I got the bolts right in it, is because this starter only has, I think, 66,000 miles on it. This is the I believe this is to be the original starter to the Century. And, you know, this thing's probably got a lot of life on it. Even if I have to use it on one of my daily drivers, I probably throw it on. I mean, if it's too expensive, I mean, other than that, I'd just buy a new starter if I needed to. But this is actually good because if you like a starter goes dead on one of your derby cars, or you buy a car that has a bad starter, for a 3100 or a 3400, I believe they use the same starter. Possibly even a 3800. Well, there you go. You got a starter. And right here is the alternator. And I wrote on it, 97 Buick Century alternator. I believe I wrote on this too. If I didn't, I definitely should. Wrote something there, I think. Not sure. I think I'll find down there. Thought I wrote on there, but anyway. Back to what I was saying. I don't know. I get sidetracked easily, guys. So this is the alternator off of the Century, and these are very important to keep. First of all, if your motor gets hit into the firewall on these W bodies, these are usually what goes first. And speaking of which, here's the bracket for it. This is all aluminum, and it's going to break if that alternator hits the well, more than likely this is going to break along with the alternator. So, and actually Demolition Missions had that same situation happen where his alternator broke, and this actually doesn't sound great, but I mean it was working when I had it in the car. So he had the same situation where his alternator broke and the piece that went on the motor broke, which I believe this to be actually the same exact piece. I'm not sure, don't quote me on that one, but I believe this to be the same exact piece that went on his Lumina. So it's always good to save these alternators, and this one's got lower mileage on it, so that's even better. So, and this one's, I mean, the connections are real nice and clean. And here is the coil pack, and it's always, once again, it's always important to save these because these can be a lifesaver. If one of your coil packs goes out, you got a free one waiting for you. These work. That Century had no misfires, and they should still work just fine. I actually had to take one of them out, obviously. I had to take the 3 and the, let's see, what other number am I missing? 1, 4, 2, 5. Oh, 3 and 6. Wow, it's been a long day. So, anyway, had to take the middle coil pack out because my LeSaber's coil pack went out. Not all the way, but most of the way. And it was not working right, and I replaced it with this one. And this one works great. So, I mean, how can you complain about free parts, and it's probably going to last for another, probably 100,000 miles or so before it goes out. Maybe not. Probably only 60 or 80 if I get lucky. But, you know, it's always good to keep these parts because they're free. Well, unless you count the car that you bought to get them off of. But, I mean, they're free when you have to go get the parts for your other car. So, why not? And they don't take up a whole lot of space. So, it only really makes sense to go ahead and save these parts. And these were super easy to pull off. Super easy to pull off that 3100. But, well, that's about it for this video, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like, comment, subscribe. And I might have another part coming. I'm not sure. Definitely have more parts to go over. And I just realized I'm forgetting a few pieces, I guess. Because I just spotted it out of the corner of my eye. I forgot. I have a shifter. It's buried under this hose. I didn't even, well, setting up for this video, I didn't even see it. So, yeah, I got this shifter here. I kept the shifter off of the Century because this will more than likely work on any W body that I derby. So, I mean, why not? And here's the whole shifter cable. I mean, it goes, we have it going all the way over there, but, oh, here's one of the ends. But yeah, I mean, it's always good to keep these parts, guys. It's really just a good idea to do that. I don't know how to stress it enough. I mean, once you have them ready to go, I mean, that means a saved a trip from the junkyard or having to spend money on a new one, so why not? Well, that's pretty much it for this video. I'm going to try this again. Like, comment, subscribe, and see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye, everybody.